Hey everyone, let's wrap up October. I do apologize if there's a background noise. If you have seen my letter to October, the only video I uploaded last month that wasn't a review, you see that there's roof construction across the street. And today they received padding, so they're just pulling it up with a crane. As I already mentioned, I didn't upload a lot of videos last month. Last month was really busy at work. I'm getting better, I'm adjusting sort of, but last month was crazy and I hope next month is not as crazy. But I did get a lot of books done, so that is good, right? So let's start with the books I put reviews up for. And the only physical one I read this month. Masquerade by Terry Pratchett. This is the 18th book in the Discworld series and I think the 5th in the Witches series. It's the witches, Granny and Nanny, going to Ankh-Morpork to look at the opera. It's a little bit Phantom of the Opera and it's a lot of fun looking at the opera through the witch's eyes and really thinking about things that you probably don't notice and looked at this way before. Highly recommend, and as usual, Discworld, I recommend it. Another full-length novel I reviewed was The Versions of Us. I read that on my Kindle and I don't really recommend reading it on a Kindle because it's 3 stories parallel of the same people. And it was rather confusing at times and I wished I could have flipped back and forth. Other than that, I really enjoyed the story to a part. We're looking at 2 people and the alternative lives they could have led and how they met and when they met and if they were together or if they were not together. And it's always looking at different times in their lives in those 3 versions of their story. And on the one side, this is very interesting. It gives you different aspects of how life could turn out. It makes you think about how your life could have turned out if you had met this person or had stayed with that person. Really makes you think. On the other side, you also experience the sad moments in 3 versions. So everybody who dies 3 times. And since it's the story of their life, you start when they meet till one of them dies. And so you have to watch them die 3 times. That was rather stressful. Other than that, I really liked the writing, I really enjoyed the story, and yeah, it is a good book. Not an easy one, it's a heartbreaking one, but it is a good book. The other ebook I reviewed was The Black Tides of Heaven. It's a short novella. It's sort of a standalone, but it's part of a series of standalones, a fantasy novel where we have magic and we follow the story of 2 twins, also again in different years and snippets of time. And I'm not really sure about this book. I liked some aspects of the story, I liked some ideas, but I really wasn't happy with not getting enough information. I was lacking a lot of the things that I wanted to know. I wanted to know more about the magic system. I wanted to know more about generally the world. Like there were names for people or races and you couldn't really put them somewhere, and I wanted to know more about that. And I also wanted to know more about the way gender was assigned in this society, because that was a special part of the story. And I don't know, I enjoyed it, I wanted more, but I don't know if I actually wanted more. The last book I reviewed was an audiobook. It was Declutter Your Mind. It's a self-improvement book on decluttering. It's not only for decluttering your mind, but also your surroundings or your life or your digital habits. It's a very short book. I would not recommend on audio. I would recommend something where you can flip back and forth and take notes. On audio, it just flew by too fast. I have to admit there's an option of getting a free PDF of the book if you get the audiobook, but I do recommend getting the physical form to take notes, to flip back and forth, to really work with the book. Because that's what it is. It's a book you can work with. It gives you a lot of ideas and reference where to dive in deeper into things, and it organizes things in lists. And if you're like me, you like lists which you can easily follow. So I really enjoyed that. The rest of the books I didn't put up separate reviews for, partly because there were continuations of series or I didn't know what to say about the book. Like for the great courses, I listened to science fiction and philosophy. I really enjoyed the course. It looks at different movies and science fiction and philosophy that can be applied or taken out of it. And I really enjoyed that part. But I have to admit, a lot of it was over my head again. It's by the same guy that did the Big Questions of Philosophy course that I listened to months ago, which also was a little bit over my head. So I don't really know if it's a good one or a bad one. What I really liked is that it mentioned a lot of science fiction. It made me watch a few movies that I kept putting off watching, or talked about ones that I really, really liked, and draw some connections and really insights, and I really enjoyed that. So, I don't know. If you're interested, I recommend it. Like I said, the rest of the books are continuations of series. I read another one of the Sindhu Jur novellas and I enjoyed it. I kind of forgot what it was about, I'm sorry. It was a quick read and it just flew by me. But I really like reading them. They're not as memorable as you would like them to be, but they're nice, fun adventures and reads. I also listened to the 5th and latest installment of Fred the Vampire Accountant, and this is also, it wasn't as memorable and as exciting as the other adventures he had, but it gave us more understanding of the vampire world and vampire society in the world that is going on. So that was also nice. And I also finished Exit Strategy, which is the last novella in the Murderbot Diaries, and I liked it, but I'm sad that it's over. I don't know, there are some developments where I really enjoyed. We see basically Murderbot connecting back with the people from the first All Systems Red, and it was interesting to see. And all throughout the series, Murderbot evolved and got a little bit more human, but in this one, he really made clear that he doesn't want to be a human, and I enjoyed this immensely. October also saw me in a DNFing mood. I DNF'd 2 books, one of which was Arabella of Mars. I was really looking forward to reading this. I pre-ordered it, then I forgot about it, and then I picked it up, and I just couldn't deal with the writing. I didn't like the main character, the story felt predictable, and the writing just didn't work for me. I did not like it. So after 50 pages or 60 pages, I decided I don't have the time for this. I don't have to deal with this. I'm going to give it away. This one didn't even stand that much of a chance. Admittedly, it's all my fault. I only read 2 pages. I didn't understand a word, not one word. The sentences didn't form sense in my brain. So it's not the book's fault, but I'm pretty sure I will never pick it up again after this experience, so I'm DNFing it. But I cannot say if it's a good book or a bad book, it's just my brain could not digest the words. October wasn't a good month for my brain. And that was that. October was, it was good and bad. I liked it, I didn't like it. I came out on top rather than at the bottom, so I'm in a much better place than I was at the end of September. But I need a break, so let's see what November brings. Let me know how your October went. Did you have a good one, a bad one? Did you have good reads, bad reads? Let's talk in comments. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.